for the next generation, is it? I'm wondering if do you have to cast a almost feels like you got to cast a more individualized vision for them rather
Yep.
than this big thing. So like I even wonder like how do you compel them, in the ministry that you're doing? Does that change, with this next generation coming up?
Yeah, no, that's 100% right.
Mm.
So we've used those. I can't remember what if this is somebody wrote, like, talking about getting on a bus, and it's like we're all going on a
Mm.
bus together, and that whole thing where at some point there's a driver and you're in a seat, and
Mm.
that kind of thing. For many reasons, I think that idea is not compelling. So I think about a few years ago, I did a long bike ride from Seattle to Portland, and the thing that allowed us to survive is being a thing called a Peloton, where you're right on the back tire of someone behind you, and you gain like 30% more efficiency being able to be that. And I feel like that's the new kind of thing, like where you're doing your thing, you're aligned, you're doing
Mm.
something together, you're in a destination, but you're pedaling, you're
Yeah.
engaged. That This
Mm-hmm.
is the reality. So we've pivoted. So planting 21 churches by the year 2021 was the vision. Really began, and it was a millennial oriented vision. Hey, this is what we're all doing together. But inherently, it was a corporate, or it was an organizational
Mm-hmm.
kind of idea. And the pivot in the future is, how is God going to use you specifically? How can
Mm.
we help you to be able to start something, to be able
Mm.
to take and be a missionary where you're at?
Mm.
And so that's that more individual thing. And then we can celebrate our impact all together,
Mm.
but it's really oriented more towards how is it that we create systems that accelerate the student, and that's what they
Yeah.
lean into.
Yeah. It's like you're not, hey, we're not all getting on a bus together. We're carpooling. You're going to go there in your own unique way. We're going to the
Yeah.
same destination. And, I think, as I think the way that that can be leveraged, obviously, high individualism, consumer, we want people to see they're a part of the body of Christ. But like on the other hand, it's like if someone sees themselves as unique, then they see, okay, well then I have a unique ministry. So I just imagine, if all that could if you could if all that could be used for good, then what you do is you'd have multiple expressions of Jesus in all these different places that
Yeah.
aren't in the same spot. I just
Hmm.
imagine the reach can be that much bigger based on kind of how this next generation is shaped. So, anyways, just a thought.
And for churches
One of the
that's
things I think we're going to have to do
Mm.
is I think that the there's a lot more fragility in Gen
Yeah,
Z. There's a
yeah,
lot more need for us to be able to remind them they can do these things, to be able to help create scenarios where they have a lot of support and a lot of affirmation, and that's what they've experienced most of their life, and they expect
mm,
that from their church leaders as well. And
yeah,
so going back into some, like, hey, like military ideas of, hey, we're gonna build you up and then send you out. That's going to be a difficult thing. And I think that for college context, post college care is the thing that we're putting so much more focus on at this point,
really.
because that feels like, hey, when I really needed my church,
Mm,
they stopped this process when I graduated. And the cool thing about the pandemic is it allowed that digital reality of connection to be able to be proven, and we still need to figure out what that looks like in a healthy way.
yeah.
But we just saw how geographic proximity wasn't as significant as we thought it was.
Mm.